Hey everybody, this is TJR. Last weekend, Taylor Swift re-released her re-recorded 2008 album, Fearless. This is the first in a series of releases where she is re-recording and re-releasing her first 6 albums. As a musician myself, I feel that what she is doing is significant and has ramifications for everybody within the music industry, and I want to get into this. But first, if you like what I'm doing and want to see more videos like this, please click like, click subscribe, and smash the bell notification icon so you can know when I release new videos. And also please share these videos on your social media. Okay, let's get to this. Now, if you're a fan of Taylor Swift, you know why she's doing this. But if you are walking into this video unaware, Taylor Swift is re-recording her first 6 albums basically as an attempt to reclaim the ownership of her first 6 albums after her old label denied her the opportunity to buy back her masters for the first 6 albums. What happened is her old label sold them to another party who, of course, bought them hoping to make a mint off of them. There's quite a bit of drama between Taylor Swift and the company and individual who now owns the original master recordings for her 6 albums. I won't get into all of that here. Needless to say, there is a lot of bad blood between them. Now, I should put forward that Taylor Swift's music is not my thing, but I admire her balls and her determination to control her art. And I also admire and give a thumbs up to the example she is setting for other artists to take note of. This is a bold and aggressive move on her part. She is saying, screw you. If you won't let me buy them, I'll re-record them. And in the process, devalue the original master recordings that you own. I'm going to circle back to that thought in just a moment. I want to just first say a little bit here that in the past, I have seen other artists re-record a hit single and sometimes a complete album. Taylor Swift is not the first music artist to do this. Sometimes an artist will do this for artistic reasons, but mostly they will do it for financial reasons. I believe that Taylor Swift is doing this for financial reasons, but I also believe she is taking a stand for the rights of songwriters everywhere. And I will add that this is not the first time I've seen her take a stand like this. For instance, when Apple Music first launched their music streaming service, everybody who wanted to try it out could try it out for the first 3 months for free. During this time, Apple Music said that none of the music artists on their platform would receive any compensation since the service was free for the first 3 months. Taylor Swift stood up and said, wait a minute, without our music, you don't have a service. And you can't just elect to offer our music for free and not compensate us for it just because you're not getting paid. And she's right. That's not how it works, legally speaking. Even if you are not accepting any payment for your service, you still have to compensate the musicians and songwriters whose music you are using to sell your service. She spoke up. Apple was legally in the wrong. And so they said, you're right, we will compensate the musicians and songwriters whose music is streamed on our service during the free trial period. And as an independent musician with music on all the legal streaming services, I want to say thank you, Taylor Swift, for standing up for all of us. But getting back to the topic at hand, if you follow the music industry at all, you're aware of the fact that most music artists do not own their master recordings. And to be fair, I do have to voice the record label's side of this. Record labels look at it from this perspective. We are taking an initial investment with you as an artist. You might succeed and you might fail. We might gain our investment back, we might lose it. And with that in mind, labels feel justified in saying, we get to own the master recordings. When you own the master recordings, you control how the catalog is re-released or repackaged. You also control the licensing for film and TV and advertising. So back in 2019, when Taylor Swift first announced that she would be re-recording her first 6 albums, the following thought occurred to me. If someone wants to license one of her songs for film or TV, she can basically undercut the company that owns those original master recordings by offering to license her re-recordings in lieu of them. She could even undercut the company that owns the original masters by offering her re-recording at a lower price. This deal would make sense for the studio that wants to license it because it's the same song. She's even performing it, and they pay less for it. Now, at the time that I thought of this, I also thought, yeah, but if she did that, she would be devaluing her own back catalog. But at the same time, she's also devaluing the original masters that's owned by this other company. And I remember thinking at the time, yeah, that's ruthless, but it could work. But then I found out about how recently the owners of those original master recordings released a live album of her older material. Taylor spoke out about this to her fan base, voicing her disapproval regarding the release. And guess what? That release tanked. And that's when I began to realize just how loyal her fan base is to her. Over the weekend, she released her re-recording of Fearless to streaming and as a physical release to retail stores. The re-recording was packed with all kinds of audio bonuses, and it debuted at number 1. Now, as far as that other company that owns those original master tapes to those first 6 albums, she has just stolen their thunder in regards to any plans to re-release Fearless. Now, you might say, well, they'll just have to get cracking and crank out a re-release of one of those other albums before she has time to finish her re-recording of the next one. But you have to understand, her fans have been following this. By using social media, she has kept her fan base informed on this topic from the beginning. And that is why I say her fans can probably describe this whole drama in more nuance and detail than I can here. I'm just giving you the cliff notes here. And if that company drops a re-release of one of her previous albums, I think that the vast majority of her fan base is going to say, no thank you, we'll wait for Taylor's version, which is what she is subtitling these re-releases as, Taylor's version. Now, as for licensing to film, TV, and commercials, the company that owns the master could try to undercut Taylor on the pricing, but I don't think it's going to matter. All she has to do is tweet out to her fan base how unhappy she is that the studio behind the upcoming such and such movie chose not to go with her re-recordings versus the other company's original master tapes. And you can bet her fan base will more than likely boycott the movie and give it negative coverage on social media. At this point, it would make more sense for the studio and for the health of their movie to have not only Taylor's blessing, but the blessing of her fans. Some of the more cynical of you out there may be thinking to yourselves, wow, she really knows how to control her fans. But I don't see it that way. I think this is a prime example of maintaining a strong relationship with your fans so that when you need them, they have your back. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Please leave a comment. I want to thank my Patreon supporters who are helping me to make more videos more often. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, please go to patreon.com/TJRTheOriginal. If you can't become a Patreon supporter at this time, that's okay too. You can show your support by just clicking like and sharing these videos on your social media. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.